behind the wheel of a Maserati GranTurismo. It's not the Trofeo. We thought we were going to get the Trofeo and we're not, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Maserati is not about speed and power and performance. It's about passion. And that is something this car exudes by the mile. First of all, look outside. We're in beautiful Trieste. It's 100 years of the Maserati Trident, by the way, 100 years of Maserati. It's 100 years since their racing debut as well. A very successful racing debut, may I add. 1926, they beat Bugattis. In 1926, if you beat a Bugatti, you're doing pretty well for yourself. But let's talk about this car. We all know the outside is absolutely gorgeous. This is the 2027 model. Not too many changes on the exterior, which is why I'm going to quickly gloss over it. New front bumper, new paint schemes. The green paint is bellissimo. And new lights at the back.
The Modena creates 483 horsepower from its 3-litre twin-turbo V6. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour comes and goes in 3.9 seconds. Top speed is 188 miles per hour, and weight is just a smidge under 1,800 kilograms.
The inside is where it really becomes. It just wraps it all up in beautiful, beautiful Italian leather. Steering wheel, flat top and bottom. Alcantara, it's really beautiful. It actually makes you feel, it really gives that kind of racing car experience. I'm sat in a very comfortable chair. You can tell this is a Grand Tourer. It's not hard. There's a little bit of lateral support, good kind of seat cushioning on the side. But the big thing to really talk about inside is there's no squeaks. Everything is plush. Everything is thought about. There's no plastics. Digital clock in the middle though, not such a fan of that. Wish that was a real clock, like in the Maseratis of old. Digital dash behind the steering wheel. A cascade of screens down the center. The top screen
After 300 meters, bear right, SR55.
Does the navigation. The bottom screen does the climate control. It's really beautiful, and you've got these physical buttons for the drive select, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Now, we're driving through Trieste, like I said. My heart rate has never been higher because it's been a long time since I've driven a left-hand drive car. Let's just open it up a little bit. I've got it on sport mode now. Throttle gets a little more touchy. The screen behind the wheel turns red, gets a bit aggressive. Just to give it a little more. Sounds great, this car. It sounds really, really good. This is not the Trofeo, like I said, but it's still got that sonorous exhaust note. It almost sings as you pull it through the revs. I will be doing some of that at the moment, but I'm stuck behind a tractor, as all good reviews start. This does, however, give me the opportunity to let the car sing for you guys. Oh. Okay, let's really talk about how this car feels then. It's twitching. I've got the suspension on a softer level because we're not on a track right now. I've got things moving about. And we've met traffic. But, you know, this car isn't pretending to be something it's not. Maserati's always done that very well. It doesn't pretend to be the fastest car in the books. It doesn't pretend to be, you know, something lightweight and stupid. Twin turbo V6 up front, but it's behind the front axle. So it gives the car quite a nice balanced feeling. Not quite feeling it at this speed though, I've got to admit. But the suspension's quite nice and compliant. I like the way it leans into the corners. It feels quite classic with that. I mean, there is a lot of damping, and like I said, I have got the suspension on a softer mode, but I do like the way it leans. I love the way it moves its weight around. Like I said, it doesn't pretend to be something overly crazy, overly performance based, and when you're at these speeds, it's so beautiful. Just with a hint of naughtiness from the exhaust. We are on the border of Slovenia right now. What a trip this has been. What a trip. Maserati have chosen these roads because, thank you, because it allows us to explore all the facets this car has to offer. And this car has a lot to offer.
Follow
I've got to admit.
SS55
Be
for
quiet.
12 kilometers.
It's a lovely snort from the exhaust as you change up and the throttle cuts. That's a very Italian thing these days, isn't it? But I do love that. The gear changes are very snappy. In automatic mode, it does, I'm still signaling. In automatic, it does sometimes struggle to decipher exactly where the driver wants the gearbox to be. There's a lot of traffic on the road this morning. Let's talk about it from a GT point of view then, while we're stuck behind this. There's such a small amount of road noise. There's no wind noise. The suspension is compliant. There's loads and loads of space. We've got the equipment in the boot, and there's so much space for more. You can definitely get a couple of golf bags and whatever in there. But I see this as an Italian road trip car going up the mountains. All your suitcases in the back. You know, a lot of cars, they lose something because they're trying to be 2 or 3 things at once. Bentley does this very well. They go all the way to luxury. Aston Martin, they are a mix. They want to be fast on the track, but they also want to be a good GT car. I feel like the Maserati's like, no, you know what? I'm fine being a GT car. And it works for it. There we go. No, I'm not going to do that. Right, we've got a van in front of us giving us a little bit of pace. I love Italy. The Italians are great. The Italians love their cars. They're passionate. The smiles and the photos these cars were getting as we left this beautiful square in Trieste. Power. How does that come on? It's a twin-turbo V6. It's very linear. I was expecting there to be a bit more torque and for it to lose a bit of power at the top end, but no, it doesn't work like that. It is just a beautifully linear. It feels almost naturally aspirated, really. There's a little bit of lag at the bottom, as you'd expect. But they must be quite small turbos, I think. Okay, we're being a little crazy now, but I just want to get some free air. What's crazy is this isn't the fastest car of the lineup. I think this is maybe lacking a bit of power for the chassis. But if it were me, and I had that bank account, then the Trofeo would be it. Now, we're very busy on the gears on these roads, especially with the traffic. And the moped now in front of me. Difficult test this. Difficult test. Usually my roads are a little clearer. In sports mode, with the car stationary, you've got this low grumble from the exhaust. I'm not sure if that's being amplified through the speakers. I know they do that on the Folgore, which is the EV version of this car, which is exceptional, I've been told. But it's a little burbly at the bottom end. But as soon as you get it above like 3,000 revs, it really does start to sing, and it becomes melodic and beautiful, as you'd expect from a Maserati. So much of Maserati's passion comes from the way it sounds. Exhibit A. Lovely. Oh yeah. Good point. That sound is telling me off because I've been a naughty boy. Cameras. This is what this car is built for, isn't it? It's whacking it in GT mode, not country mode, which raises the suspension. GT mode. And enjoying. It's all about experience. It's all about materials and it's about texture. We're driving down this road right now. It's flanked by trees. And I'm just kind of thinking, yeah, this is it. This is what this car is for. This is the experience. It doesn't have to be going fast to be a really beautiful experience, but it has that opportunity. I wish I could tell you more about the dynamics of the car, but I'm just not going to be able to
Take the exit.
go that quick to explore that side of the thing. So I think I'm going to leave it here and just tell you that, you know, this car isn't, like I said before, it's not about being the quickest in the history books. It's just about being a really lovely experience. I'll leave you with this.
You have reached your stop.
Yes, we have.